Well, it looks like Microsoft's gonna pull a Sega. I used to be a fan of Xbox. My first owned console was an Xbox One, and the first console I bought personally was an Xbox Series X. Now, did I end up selling that to buy a PC? Yes. Did I regret all the time I had on my Xbox? No. I liked Game Pass, and all my friends were on Xbox. But over the years, man, looking back, I'm just glad I swapped. Because this company cannot stop dropping L after L after L. And at some point, you think they're doing it on purpose. From the shutdown of multiple studios with one or even no games, to multiple price increases of Game Pass to insane amounts, to Phil Spencer's publicity being nothing but weeping about losing the console wars, Microsoft has been a mess ever since the Xbox Series X released. And Microsoft, they're a computer company, so you know they could try everything. Hell, they ran out of so many options, they moved to PC. Well, kind of. Today, I wanted to look at Microsoft over the past couple of years and ask you guys whether it's history repeating itself or Microsoft digging its own grave. First, I want to talk about all the companies they bought, because how are you going to spend over $70 billion on Activision Blizzard and not make a single game exclusive? They then bought Bethesda and made none of those games exclusive to Xbox. Like, I get it, for a consumer, console exclusives are stupid, right? But for a business, console exclusives are what get you consoles. And I just found this out, and I don't know if this is a good sign. Xbox is looking into AI-powered gaming. They got these spam messages going out to people on their phones, on the Xbox app. Probably gonna have AI-generated guides. Microsoft is already leaning too hard into AI. And by the way, their new CEO is the executive of the AI services. So that's a great way to start off quarter one of 2026. With that out of the way, let's rewind and go back to Game Pass. I feel like the Xbox console's only driving force for sales has been Game Pass. And all the things that would make an Xbox sell has only been the hardware. For example, Quick Resume. Quick Resume, I think, is one of the only things you would buy an Xbox for that wasn't Game Pass. I mean, the ability to be able to instantly jump back into the game you were playing was pretty good. But over the years, the Xbox finally started coming out with some good games. Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield, Halo Infinite, all of them drumming up some form of controversy, however. Hi-Fi Rush's studio got shut down, even though they made an amazing game. Halo Infinite missing some key features of any Halo game, and overall having a lackluster story. And Starfield starting a whole woke movement for Xbox. But over the course of 2023, and maybe even a bit of 2024, with the release of some awful games. And Microsoft, because they bought all these studios, now had to take all the blame for them. And it was kind of their fault to begin with. Meet Redfall, a vampire shooter that was borderline unplayable. From the Xbox Series X version of the game being locked at 30 FPS, terrible AI, and a basically unpolished and unfinished product. And it was pretty much all Microsoft's fault. Despite Arcane Studios' high standards, Microsoft not only rushed the development, gave them high working hours, and rushed the game out far before it was actually ready. And then later in 2024, they just killed off the studio, along with shutting down Tango Games, responsible for Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was nominated for many Game of the Year awards that year, and it even won Best Audio Design, and they just shut down the studio. This studio was known for the Evil Within series, and even Ghostwire Tokyo, and the studio was shut down just like that. I mean, why wouldn't they? They already were billions upon billions of dollars in the hole. And after an $150 million loss over a 6-year period, flopping like that? It sort of makes sense. But then they dig a hole even deeper. By 2025, their fiscal reports were just going down the drain. So you know what they do? They raised the price of their console up to $650 for a console that is over 5 years old. And then in the same year, they increased Game Pass to over $30. Mind you, by this point, Game Pass had been the main selling point for around 3 years, because over time they started putting day one releases on Game Pass, to the point where someone's entire game library could be all Game Pass games that you don't own. Sure, there were other competitors, like PlayStation Plus's game library, but that has neither the quantity nor the quality to be able to compete with Game Pass. Sure, you got games like Persona 5, Bloodborne, and all, a bunch of hits from PS4 and even PS3, but let's be honest, Xbox has hundreds of games like that, so it's kind of a monopoly in its own right. So on one hand, yes, no one is forcing Microsoft to change Game Pass, but at the same time, the only thing that's going to keep it afloat is its consumers, which were fading fast because the website to cancel your Xbox Game Pass subscription crashed, all due to high traffic. Shortly after, Black Friday came around, and the Xbox Series X was beaten by an Android family console. Now, if that doesn't demoralize any company trying to sell a console, I don't know what will. Oh wait, they already thought of it. Killing all their exclusives. Now, I know I brought this up before, but I want to bring this decision into full scale. Halo going to PS5, Gears of War, High on Life, which was originally an Xbox and PC exclusive, now going to PlayStation, and finally Forza. While these are only a couple games, we can only imagine what Xbox is going to do now with new games that come out. High on Life 2 simultaneously released with Xbox and PlayStation, and we can assume that's pretty much all they're going to do for the rest of time until they just stop making consoles. There are already rumors out that Xbox is now just going to make PCs and call them Xboxes, but at that point, they've already lost and they've known it for the past couple of years. And they fumbled so many parts of these company acquisitions, and they fumbled their PR too. Look at all the Phil Spencer interviews over the past couple of years, and all of them have been him crying about how Xbox lost the console wars, and about how they can't keep up with PlayStation, when the tools to do it were right in front of him. Because at this point, why would you spend billions of dollars buying out companies if you're gonna make none of their games exclusive to your console? Sure, it's a dick move, but Microsoft's been doing that since the beginning. What's stopping them from doing a move like that actually helps them? And over these past 3 years, there's simply just been no reason to buy an Xbox, other than Game Pass, which you can simply buy on a computer. On the PS5, you couldn't play God of War anywhere else until a couple of years ago. And while PC has kind of been a hub for all games, at least they're not giving their games to Xbox, holding an even bigger foothold on the console market than they already do. And that's simply just going to push Xbox out of the hardware competition. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think Microsoft still has some redeeming qualities, or can even make a comeback? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, that's it for me, y'all. This is Crimson, signing out. Peace.